Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I've been waiting a long time for this facelift. This is the brand new 2023 Honda CR-V, and what we're going to do in this video, take a look at the front and the rear and also the interior and compare it to the old model, because this is just not a normal facelift. In my opinion, this is one of the best facelifts I've seen in a very long time. So what do we have here? The overall length and size has actually grown from the 2020 CR-V. It's 1.6 inches longer in the wheelbase and an overall length increase of 2.7 inches, and it's also half an inch wider than before. The same turbocharged 1.5 liter and the 2 liter gas engines are still in the 2023 model, connected to the CVT gearbox. They do tweak a little bit with the torque figures here for the new 2023 models, and the horsepower is actually down from 212 horsepower to 204. And on the interior, you have either a 7-inch screen touchscreen or an optional 9-inch touchscreen, and the price for this thing starts at about $28,000. So let's have a look at the front end of this gorgeous new Honda CR-V. I think Honda is really on a roll right here. I want to hear your opinion on this new CR-V and what you think of it. Do you think it's an improvement over the 2020 model up here, or do you think it's worse looking? Maybe some of you do. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what your opinion is on this. So it kind of follows the same philosophy as we have with the Civic, for example, and also the HR-V a little bit. That looks a little weird in my opinion, but it follows the same styling updates where we simplify the design. That's what it's all about with Honda right now, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing when it comes to the simplification of these designs. So look at this front end of the 2020 model. It doesn't look too over stylized, but we do have some stuff going on. For example, these angles in the headlights right here, and also I never thought that this lower part with the very squarish lower front fascia, it doesn't feel like this part connects well with the top half of the front face, because here we have a lot of movement, a lot of dynamic lines, and also a lot of styling, I would say, in the top half. But in the lower half, it kind of went very simplistic and almost oversimplistic. Now looking at the new version down here, I think this is such an improvement, not just in the front but also in the rear, because more so I think in the rear, because the old version of the rear end looks way too complicated for my taste. But the thing is, they kept the original styling of the 2020, but really nailed it in with the simplicity and the clarification of the lines. And I think they did a pretty similar job in the front end. Now we have more angles here. This angle is a lot harsher than we have up here, so it's more of a confident looking front end. The housing for the graphics looks pretty similar, but here again, you can see that the angles are, the front end is now, you have straight lines, a bit of a curvature, straight line, and then a bit of a curvature again, not like we have here, which is a very fluid and organic design. This isn't bad looking by any means, but it's just a very nice upgrade, keeping the same styling features in the front end as the 2020 CR-V, but just cleaning it up a little bit. And then we have this. This is a really cool touch. We have an actual functional air vent right here. So this is a hole, a slot that allows air to flow around this fender here and out in the wheelhouse. In addition to that, this black trim, I think this is the hybrid version. I think it looks really good. I'm not so sure about these squares down here in the bottom though. They add a little bit of identity to the front end of the design, I would say, but I'm not so sure if I want them there. I think I would just remove them altogether and just have this grille be one part with the same texture like we have here going into the sides as well, and just remove these parts altogether, because we still have a bit of a styling feature on the sides, which is this functional air vent that we have right up underneath the headlights. Now looking at the rear, I think this is where they really nailed. This is what a facelift is supposed to be, in my opinion. You take the key features, elements, graphics of the previous generation, and then you take them and clean it up and you give it more confidence, and that's exactly what I think they did right here. Look at the taillight of the 2020 model, and we have the same styling on the 2023 model, but it now has a lot more connection to the lines that goes on around it. Look at this, for example. We have this taillight. It doesn't have a connection here to the side where this sharp corner of the taillight is, and it doesn't have any connection to this line. This line kind of just crashes in, and we have a big explosion right here that nothing happens. There's no line flow from the graphic features into the body lines of the car. And then we have this shelf. It feels all right. It feels pretty decent to look at, but it's not confident. It's kind of soft, radius, and it doesn't give the taillights any solid foundation to rest on. Same goes for these lines in the bottom going in to these to this vertical line into a horizontal line, and there's just a lot going on in the rear end. In addition, we have this chrome trim in the middle that houses the Honda logo. Looks decent as well, but now when I see the facelift, I see how much better this is implemented in the 2023 model. So let's have a look at that. As you can see, we have the same kind of graphics as the old 2020 model. Look at this now. We have the same graphic taillight, but now this sharp corner that we talked about up here that didn't have a connection to anything now goes into this gorgeous shoulder line that goes all the way from the rear into the length of the car and then into the front headlights, in the top corner of the front headlights as well. Same goes for this chamfer, this framing that we have of the taillights and the tail graphics, now resting on a sharp, confident line that has a sharp edge here and not just a rounded, smooth edge like we have in the previous 2020 model. And this chrome trim that we have in the old version now is just housed, the logo is now housed by a nice, sleek looking, clean panel that sticks into the taillights here as well. And we can't find this vertical line that we have here in the 2020 model. That is completely gone, as you can see. And the lower part also looks like a massive improvement, with a single line going across the width of the taillight and creating this nice frame for the diffuser that we have down here. The diffuser itself looks a lot more sporty than we have here. As you know, I'm not a big fan of chrome. We have some chrome pieces down here. I believe some trim levels of the new CR-V will also have some chrome in them. It stretches up a lot higher than we have before, making the rear end look kind of shorter and not so tall that we have up here. And in addition, the framing for the license plate, like we have up in the 2020 model, it has this additional part to it, and we have these angles going down like this. Nothing wrong with this. This is kind of Honda styling, but just have a look at how much better and cleaner this looks. One line at the bottom, one line at the top. We don't need any additional framing lines like this for the license plate. And I think Honda has made a fantastic job updating the CR-V. Also in the interior, as you can see right here, it reminds me a lot of the Honda Civic, the new Honda Civic. Right now you have, in the new one, you can either have the 9-inch screen as an option, or you can have the 7-inch screen. The gauge cluster looks almost identical to the 2020 model. And as you know, this is not something that I'm opposed to. I like when we have a nice cozy house for the gauge cluster right here, like we have in the old model. And also in the new model, we have more of an angle on the sides here. And look at this, the top part, the beautiful chamfers that houses the gauge cluster has a simple chamfer going around it here. And in the old one, we have a bit more styling. So it's kind of overall, all around the car, they kept the same design feature, key graphic features and key proportions of the old one, but just cleaned everything up both inside and out. You can also see that this center console is also brand new here, and I think this looks more stately, and I do prefer this positioning with the screen, because what this does in comparison to the 2020 model is here we have the screen breaking up the horizontal lines of the interior and kind of creates a little more clutter than we have in the new one. You can see that the air vents, just like in the Honda Civic, and I believe the Honda HR-V as well, they now stretch from all the way from the passenger door into the steering wheel, and it creates a nice flow, nice perspective lines in the interior of the new Honda CR-V. So overall, I'm excited for what Honda is doing right now, but I want to hear your opinion. Do you think this is an improvement or not? Do you prefer the old, more Japanese traditional styling where we have a little bit, maybe a sprinkle of overstyling in the old 2020, or do you prefer the new 2023 more cleaned up design? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.